students, welcome to Sant Tukaram National Model School's YouTube channel. My dear students, as you know, we are learning about a 5th standard science lesson, that is plants and environment. My dear students, in this lesson, in last few videos, we have learned so many things about the plants. We have learned that plants can grow everywhere on the land, on every inch of the land, on every inch of the earth, they can grow. So on the basis of that, these plants can be classified, means the places where the plants grow, those are called as the habitat, the natural environment in which the plants grow, that is called as the habitat. This is the habitat, grasslands. Okay. Now, on that basis, the plants can be classified into the two groups. The classification of the plants on the basis of the habitat, and the classification is the terrestrial plants, as you can see at back of me, and here is the aquatic plants. So terrestrial plants and the aquatic plants, this is the classification of the plants on the basis of the habitat. Now, in this video, we are going to learn about the classification of the aquatic plants. Terrestrial plants classify, or they grow on mountains, in plains, in deserts, in swampy areas, in coastal areas. So at the different places, these terrestrial plants, they grow at the same time. The aquatic plants also grow, though they grow in water, but still they can be classified into the three groups. The further classification of the aquatic plants, this is what we are going to discuss in this part of the video. So let us see the classification of the aquatic plants. So here, as you can see, here you can see that these aquatic plants can be classified into the three groups. The first one is the floating plants, second one is the fixed plants, and third one is the underwater aquatic plants. So floating plants, which are called as the leaf plants, the fixed aquatic plants, which are called as the emerged plants, and the third category, that is the underwater plants, which are called as the submerged plants. So we'll see about these plants one by one. So first of all, we'll learn about the floating aquatic plants. My dear students, these floating aquatic plants, as I said, they can be called as the leaved plants also. So floating plants are not attached to the water bottom, but they have the roots which absorb the water. So this is the first thing. They float onto the surface of the water. Okay, and that's why we call them as the floating aquatic plant. Okay, because you can see the leaf and the flower or other parts of the plant, they are floating on the surface of the water. That's why we call them as the floating plant, but their roots are not attached to the water's bottom. Okay, so they are the floating aquatic plants. If the roots are attached, then they are called as the fixed aquatic plants. In the next video, we will be learning about that. Now, floating aquatic plants, they can be found in the fresh water and in the salt water. So both in the rivers also they grow, in rivers also we can find out them, and in the sea or oceans also we can find out them. So floating plants can grow in the both kind of the water, in the fresh and in the salty water. The leaves of these plants are formed and they are flat. So as they are flat, they can absorb more sunlight, and for that purpose, these leaves are broad and flat, and these broad and flat leaves also help them to float or float onto the surface of the water, or they can freely float onto the surface of the water because of their broadness of the leaves. The common examples of the floating plants include, here you can see the water hyacinth and water lettuce. This is the water lettuce. You can see the leaves are broad and flat, and here you can see the water hyacinth. Okay, so these are the common examples of the floating aquatic plants. So here we will stop in this video, and in the next part of the video we'll see two more types of the aquatic plants. Till that, you take good care of yourself, and thank you so much.